Hey everyone, Dave Lewis here with High Impact CPA, and today we're going to go over how to add a user in Xero. So, if you have an accountant that you're bringing on board and you need to add them in, or you have a new employee that needs to come on and needs access, we're going to walk you through how to do that. Now, the most important thing to think about is what kind of roles and permissions are these users going to need, because you don't want to give anyone access at a permission level that is above what they need to do their job. And it's important to maintain proper segregation of duties. So, people like your new employee probably shouldn't be the one authorizing payments to go out or doing reconciliations, things like that. So, think for the role, what kind of permissions are they going to need? And we're going to look at a couple of those different ones as we go through. But here we are, we're on the dashboard page of Xero. I'm using my firms just as an example right here. It's totally blank. I don't use this page for my particular accounting. It's more of an example and teaching tool, so we're just going to go right on in. So here's the dashboard. To get to your settings to add a user, you're going to go up here to this left-hand bar. We're going to go click down on it, and we are going to go into settings right over here. So once you're on the organization settings page, up here, you'll see on the left-hand side under General, there is a users link. So go ahead and click that. Do that. It'll show all of the current users in here. I'm going to go up here to invite a user up in the right hand corner. So let's do that. We're going to put in their details. Let's just say Bob. I'm a Parker for this case. Mail Bobby B at gmail.com. So we come down here, and this is the most important part, is looking at the different permissions. Some of these may or may not apply to your particular enterprise. So projects, if you are a contractor or you're doing any kind of work where you're tracking costs and income within projects, you're going to want to select this one. And then we've got a couple different levels of access. So standard means, hey, they're going to be able to go in, they're going to be able to use invoicing features within projects. Limited is your most likely option. So they can look at their own time entries, they can add and edit it, but they really can't do anything else with the project. So this is good for your new hires. This is generally good for your accountants. And I'm going to go into what roles you should probably give your accountants at the end of this. And then, of course, admin with any of these will let you do anything. So the other thing is to allow expenses. You've got a submitter. So if they've got expenses that they've incurred for the company, they can go ahead and have submit capabilities here. Approver is like that's your manager level. That's someone submitted an expense. We're going to approve that for payment. That's fine. And then, of course, admin does everything. Business and accounting. This has a couple more options. Well, one more option here. Essentially, we've got invoice only, and you can select a couple levels that people can do. If it's someone who's like a sales rep or someone, maybe you only want them to create drafts of an invoice or POs or anything like that. So sales, proven pay, it just depends on the level of access that this person needs. Standard goes through everything that invoice only has, but they also have the ability to reconcile. So this would be closer to what your staff accountant would do if you've got one, or your bookkeeper if you've got one in-house or outsourced, whatever it may be. There's a couple different options that they can have in there, including adding bank accounts, editing bank accounts. So again, just make sure, look at what their role is and understand what access they actually need to have. Advisor, this is typically going to be your outsourced accountant or your accounting manager, whomever. And they can basically look at all the accounting, all the reports. You can make it so they can do some editing and read only. This is typically for your tax advisor. If your accounting professional is different than your tax professional, your tax guy shouldn't be able to go in and make modifications into the system. So they would be read only. Typically, if you're bringing on an outsourced accountant like myself, I'm just going to need fairly limited access to everything unless we're doing something like doing bill pay for you or doing accounts receivable and collections. So your professional will be able to tell you what level of access they actually need and make sure that aligns with what you're thinking they should do, and make sure they can explain why they need a higher level of access if that's necessary. You're going to go through, you're going to select, you're going to come down here to send invite, and then it will shoot them an invite. They'll be able to log in and run from there. So that's it. Pretty quick and easy. Again, just look at the roles and permissions that they need and give them only those roles and permission. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.